All right, next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. It is a spring breakup as Miami Beach and Fort Lauderdale say no to Where the Boys Are. Remember Where the Boys Are? It was an iconic rom-com film shot in around greater Fort Lauderdale. The film is about college students on spring break in Fort Lauderdale. The popularity of Where the Boys Are helped establish Fort Lauderdale as a spring break destination. But the situation is changing. As Miami Beach tightens its grip on spring break chaos, Fort Lauderdale braces for potential repercussions. Concerned that the tumultuous scenes witnessed in South Beach may spill over, city officials are taking precautionary measures to maintain order. While Fort Lauderdale stops short of Miami Beach's extreme crackdown, it's implementing its own strategies to prevent unruliness. In beach communities across South Florida, plans include hiking parking fees to $100 a day during spring break, alongside increased fines for parking violations, ensuring that visitors adhere to regulations. Mayor Dean Trantalis emphasizes the importance of maintaining a welcoming environment while expecting responsible behavior from visitors. He acknowledges the challenges posed by Miami Beach's stringent measures, but assures that Fort Lauderdale is prepared to address any issues. Miami Beach's official website has TikTok messages including, quote, "It's not us, it's you." It's a hyper "you're not welcome" message. Despite Miami Beach's struggles with spring break mayhem, Fort Lauderdale remains cautiously optimistic about its own situation. Officials express confidence in their readiness to handle potential disruptions, reassuring residents and visitors alike of their commitment to safety. Amid concerns of spring break chaos spreading, the gayest place on the earth is taking proactive steps to ensure the safety and well-being of residents and visitors alike. You know, this is like the kind of age-old question of Florida. Even before when, the film Where the Boys Are, Florida was kind of often just understood as kind of like the nation's playground. Yeah. And like it's Las Vegas of its day. What happens in Florida stays in Florida. That film helped kind of, no doubt, kind of popularize the idea of spring break as a kind of moment where people come here and, a little respite from the winter. But we could date that even before. I think like anything, there has to be a healthy balance, right? Between the kind of, I always worry about hyper surveillance and hyper criminalization. Like those things kind of make me anxious. But this, like, people's safety needs to be at the priority of all of these kinds of initiatives. And it actually, Florida could use the stimulating economy here as people are kind of running.
There's too many people here. Stay home. The traffic is awful. Do not come. I wrote the message on TikTok. No, stay. No, I'm joking. I find it funny that Miami is being called the gayest place on earth.
I think they meant Wilton.
Not a thing.
Right?
Wilton, arguably, I love Wilton, obviously, but there's so many places. But no, of course, safety is a priority. This seems a little bit like a champagne problem to me, but at the same time, we want the beaches and our beaches to stay fabulous.
Having been born here in 1964 at Holy Cross, Fort Lauderdale original, and hit my first tennis ball at Holiday Park. I've watched spring break for now. It'll be my 59th year. I don't remember the first few years, but I'll be 59 this year. And my Uncle Jim used to own a place there called, it was called the Tradewinds Hotel. Mm. And there was a great little bar there that was right down the street from the Marlin Beach. And my uncle would always say, God, these kids keep coming from the Marlin Beach. And he was such a great guy in this. He said, I welcome them all. I welcome them all. It's called the Candy Store, if you remember. Mm-hmm. That was it. So I think that it's important that we spend a little more energy and time on thinking about these are the next generation of spenders on Los Olas and our hotels, buying our real estate, buying rental properties. Because when you come down here, just like I did just at Christmas, and man, I got to move back to Fort Lauderdale. This is the greatest place in the world. You've got to remember that this is the next generation of spenders. They're going to be the generation that has some hopefully extra money if this world can improve a little bit. And they're going to be the ones that are populating Wilton Drive in 20, 25 years. And I just think it's important to obviously keep the safety in place, do all the things you need to do, but that's not anything different than every major city in the world has to deal with just because it's a spring break. You go to Spain, Ibiza, you go to, South Africa, Johannesburg.
That's a spring break.
It's all crazy.
Yeah.
But I would love to see more marketing and more enthusiasm towards catering to these young people and encourage them to visit us. And when you become, older, married, gay, married, whatever all you are, come to Fort Lauderdale and make it a second home or a first home like we all did.
Yeah, and there could be a little bit of a campaign on campuses and so forth This is basically, it's like going to a party at a friend's house. Don't trash the joint,
Right.
you know, just because it's not yours, you know, because people do live here, you know, and it's easy to come down and, you know, have a great time, and then, you know, you're breaking stuff and causing disruption because you're going to go back home and you don't have to live with the consequences of it. This is not our first spring break.
No.
You know, the city and authorities,
not even like
I think.
the fifth.
Right.
Like, you know, I mean, it's
So
been a minute.
we've been dealing with this. We just need to keep dealing with it. We need to patrol. We need to keep people in line. But by the same token, we have to embrace it. This
welcome
is the
the kids.
experience
And
and
welcome
welcome
the
them.
kids.
They're future spenders of America in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. And it's good for our economy. It's good for our energy, I think, as an area.
Yeah, it also seems like a Band-Aid solution to me.
Band-Aid?
Yeah, Band-Aid solution. I mean, we're talking about, you know, violent. Like, for example, this issue in Miami happened from violence, and it feels like pointing it at spring breakers is also a little bit of a scapegoat when we could be talking about ways to increase security more broadly here in Florida.
That's
I also think there's another, perspective on this too that looks at what is our economy based on, and perhaps the need to increase the diversity of our portfolio. We need to have alternatives besides just going to the bar and drinking. When people come down to Florida and here in Fort Lauderdale, there needs to be alternatives for people to say, you know what, I can go to Florida for spring break. Yes, I'll visit the bars and everything, but that doesn't have to be my whole week either.
Yeah.
That's
Well
right.
said.